Hi, I'm Lenora Bresler. Welcome to the January 12th, 2017 edition of the Bible, Delight in the Details. I know that I'm trying to do these earlier in the day, but as some of you may know, I have been very sick lately, and it is just whipping me. And I'm sorry to be so late in the day getting this out. Hopefully we are on the mend at this point. So, we have come to the end of Psalm 23, but not the end of talking about shepherds, as I'll explain in a moment. But the last phrase that we want to consider is, I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Now, as you recall, Psalm 23 tells the story of 1 year in the life of a sheep, as the shepherd takes the sheep from their home base in the lower elevations up to the mesa or tablelands during the summer and then back through the fall and back to home base for the winter. This is referring to the very end of the journey, dwelling in the house of the Lord forever. It may surprise you to know that in the Middle East, sheep are considered almost practically parts of the family in some families. It is a very loving and caring kind of relationship between the shepherd and the sheep. And they are often thought of as pets. Many times there will be pet sheep that are treated in many ways the way we would treat dogs and cats here in America. But whether you are considered a pet sheep or not, there is a place, a pen, and we'll talk about this in another edition, right there by the house. Also, many times during the winter, if it gets really, really cold, special provisions will be made by the shepherd. Sometimes the shepherd even goes out and stays outside with the sheep if they're particularly skittish, even if it's back at home, getting out of their own bed and going outside in the elements and staying with the sheep during the night, or sometimes bringing the more skittish animals into the dwelling place. So the idea of being in very close communion with the shepherd is what is intended when there's the statement, I will dwell in the house of the Lord. Isn't that what we as Christians believe, that we are destined to live eternally in the presence of our Lord, of our shepherd? And whatever that looks like, whether, it's the streets of gold and the big pearl gates and all of that, whatever it really looks like, the thing that makes heaven heaven is that it is the house, the dwelling place of the Lord. And wherever he is, there is goodness and mercy and wonderfulness. And that's where we sheep want to be. Now, I said that although we've now finished with Psalm 23, we're not finished with shepherds, because Jesus wasn't finished. In John chapter 10, he goes to great lengths to talk about himself as the good shepherd. And starting tomorrow, we will look at specifically what Christ said about himself. There's more, even more, about this shepherding stuff. I'm Lenora Bresler. Visit me tomorrow here, who knows what time, hopefully early, for the next edition of the Bible, Delight in the Details. Have a wonderful night.